What's up, everybody? This is Fray. This audio is copyright 2006 WCReplays.com. Get ye good the game. Paused at the 15-second mark because I'm going to talk about the build order. This is a strategy I've been wanting to do an audio on for quite a bit. It's kind of, I guess, my own little creation. I'm sure I'm not the first person that's ever tried it, but to me, it seems like a pretty effective undead versus human strategy. It is mostly useful on the smaller maps like Echo Isles and Tyrannus Stand and things like that, where the human player tends to take like a slightly later expansion around Tier 2 and basically kind of creep around that area and bully you away from it. And then if you try to counter-expand, since the map is fairly small, they push it and beat you. Admittedly, these are not necessarily maps that are exactly in the humans' favor. I'd say it's probably about. I would say this is as good, probably not better than the standard DK strategy, but it's definitely a good way to mix it up. Especially if you are more the strategy timing kind of player instead of the micro kind of player, although there are, plenty of opportunities for good micro and things like that. Anyway, I hope you've got this pause at the 15-second mark. You can go ahead and take the Fog of War off, and I will take you through this one, and we'll hope it looks okay. I haven't actually watched this replay yet. I just played the game, so I know what I did, but I'm probably going to see some horrible mistake that I made somewhere along the line, and I'll make sure to point it out and taunt myself for doing it. Okay, 15-second mark. We'll mostly be looking at my base, that is FOHX Sister Raid. By the way, the guy I'm playing, FOH Liam, FOH is a different clan than FOHX. It was originally, both of them were created by T. Ryder, and he left FOH, and then they wouldn't let him back in, so he made FOHX, which I joined, and then it disbanded, so I'm actually in Clan WCR now, but I still have the tag, just because I didn't feel like creating a new ladder account. Okay, too much information. Let's go ahead and get this thing unpaused in 3, 2, 1. Unpause. Sister Ray's base, that's me, at the 15-second mark. So, at any rate, me and Liam are not in the same clan at all. I don't know the guy in the least. We have a little discussion about that. Here's the build order for this. This is kind of what I use as the Tavern Hero build order, and the general idea of it is to get my Tavern Hero, the Dark Ranger, with a skeleton rod as quickly as possible, and I use I use the backpack ability to bring the skeleton rod on the ghoul that I used to hire the Dark Ranger. Reason for this is I really want to start harassing the human as early as possible, especially if he decides to go for a fast expand. The Dark Ranger isn't really as good of a harasser as the Death Knight, but she's decent. Anyway, here's the build order. I actually go Crypt and then Tomb, the shop. I build the shop second, which I know is a little bit weird, but the idea is when I build the shop second, I can research Backpack very quickly. However, it's important that you build your first ziggurat before you research Backpack. So the whole build order is that I build Crypt, then Shop, aka Tomb of Relics, then I start my Graveyard, then I start my Altar, then I build my first Ghoul, then I build my first ziggurat, and then I research Backpack, and pretty much as soon as Backpack is ready, I go ahead and buy a Rod of Necromancy, put it on one of my Ghouls, and I head off to hire a Dark Ranger. At this point, Liam is scouting my base and probably wondering what the bejesus I'm doing, because it's a pretty unorthodox build. He's probably expecting DK Fiends at this point, just from the fact that I have a Graveyard and, a late Altar. So, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I've never seen anybody do this strategy before, but then again, I don't play humans, so I really have no idea what other undead players do. At kind of the non-pro level. By the way, this game, I want to say Liam is about level 33 or level 34, so we're both kind of in the lower top 200 of ladder, so nothing special, but I'd say both fairly decent players. Okay, so it's time to harass with the Dark Ranger. The reason I go ahead and get the Skelly Rod on the Dark Ranger, despite her obvious ability to create skeletons, is because there's pretty much always going to be some kind of corpse lying around that I can use early on. There's many techniques that you can do. The idea here is really just to slow the human player down, because I'm doing like a 3 ghoul with a graveyard fast tech kind of build. You're not really going to be able to steal too many creep kills or anything fancy like that, but you're going to make it so he can't go creep like really hard stuff with his militia and things like that, because you will come up from behind him and bully him with the skeletons and things like that. So what I ended up doing is just kind of an opportunistic thing. Is I tried to hammer down the Archmage a little bit and deal enough damage to him that he's going to have to play pretty conservatively, because even though I have a Dark Ranger, which is an excellent creeping hero, I pretty much need to do some kind of harass against the human player early on in case they fast expand, although he did not in this case. So to me, although you're welcome to try it, but to me, trying to start the game out as undead, even with the Dark Ranger, and just creeping right off the bat, I think that would be a mistake. Basically because the Archmage is I think still going to out-creep you by a bit. You might be able to, if you were going for a fast expand build out of this, you might be able to do okay. Anyhow, I decided not to do that. This is actually more of like a fast tech build with 3 ghouls. The fiends come out kind of late, so I don't have any creeping power early on. So really what I do until I get like my first couple fiends out is I just kind of harass the Archmage and don't let him creep anything too fancy. The general techniques that you can use when you're harassing somebody with the Dark Ranger is, one, to kind of sit there and just hammer on his hero using your ranged attack and get him low on health. You can try and shoot creeps that he's trying to kill and snag the last hit on him. That will get you the experience. Even if you don't get the last hit, as long as you're attacking it and you put black arrow on it, even if he gets the kill, you still get a skeleton out of that. So that can be pretty damn handy. You notice I'm buying a sacrificial skull here. This is because once I've decided to leave the human alone because I actually have a few fiends out, I'm going to go clear out my expansion, and I'm going to at least get ready to counter-expand against him. Here's the deal. If you're going to counter-expand versus human, you really have to bring a sacrificial skull with you. If you do not... most human players know that they can win the game if they take an expansion and then come cancel yours. So really, anytime a human player expands, you can very safely expect them to come push your expansion immediately afterwards. So really, if you don't build some kind of static defense for your expansion, it's going to either get canceled or he's going to kill all your acolytes and that sort of thing. Just not good times. I go ahead. Level 3 on the Dark Ranger is nice, but it's not essential. What I'm trying to do here, these little bitty mercenary camps, you see the one that I'm creeping right now, they sometimes drop tomes of experience, which is very imbalanced. But if you manage to snag one of those, I didn't get one this time, it gave me a tome of strength, whoop-de shit. But if you do manage to get a tome of experience out of that, well, I would have had level 3 on my Dark Ranger, which would have made my upcoming push even more powerful. Anyway, it's second hero time, so whenever I hit tier 2, I try to hire a Panda as soon as possible. Hopefully I've gotten level 3 on my Dark Ranger by then. In this case, I wasn't able to. That's okay. What I do immediately at this point is